Hey, haven't seen you live in a while. Well, there's a story behind that. We've been busy on the outside world. In the real world. What's up, Squeeze? Welcome back to the Build Show. And yes, for all of you who are just now joining in, come on in, we're back. We're building again. It's only been a little over a week. That's a while? What's up, Colin? Welcome to the Build Show. So today, we've got an interesting build to do. It's going to be an upgrade, if you haven't noticed. A little bit of an upgrade. This is actually a build that I did a long time ago. Back in 2020, I was looking at the invoice, and back then, things were also super expensive. And then they teetered it down a little bit, and then things got more expensive again. So this kind of brings back a lot of memories. We can kind of go over like what it looked like to have like a cool gaming PC back in 2020. This was the style back then for budget but performance. This was like your go-to build. Maybe a slightly different graphics card, but at the time graphics cards were really hard to get. So I don't know if anybody remembers 2020 like I do. I just remember it being a complete nightmare. And it was a complete nightmare. So, welcome back to the Build Show. I am your host over here at the Empower Gaming Studio, aka my house. And we're going to be doing an upgrade for Ryan. And again, this is a PC that we built a while ago back in 2020. So it's kind of cool. Kind of cool to see a PC come back, especially after this many years. So finally, after almost 6 years of service, the motherboard on this PC we believe has failed. It's either the motherboard, the CPU, or the RAM. He took it to another shop before he brought it back to me to do the upgrades, and they diagnosed, and it's only because he lives pretty far away from me. So he's trying to save the drive. But he called and we got talking, and he was interested in some upgrades. So we're pretty sure the motherboard on this has failed, but I'm not entirely sure. I actually haven't diagnosed it yet. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do an upgrade for him. He went to Micro Center and purchased all the parts, mostly because Micro Center doesn't let me buy bundles anymore, or they limit me severely. But we have a B650 motherboard, so we're going to go from an AIM-4 platform to an AIM-5 platform, and we're going to go with the Ryzen 7 7700X and 32 gigs of DDR5 6000 CL36. This is a bundle that you can get from Micro Center. I believe this comes in around $500 for the bundle right now, which is a very good deal, especially when 32 gigs DDR4 alone is about $500. CL36 might be a little bit less, like 430 or something like that, but all in all, you're getting a CPU, a motherboard, and RAM for almost the same price that 32 gigs DDR5 is going to cost. So if you do have a Micro Center nearby and they do have the bundles available, this is a super smart way to save some money. I remembered it. I got a 3080 from Best Buy for MSRP. Nice. Yes, that was a terrible time. Terrible time. It was hard to get MSRP pricing. Basically, you'd have to have a bot buying it for you with an open-ended and a credit card with no limit, so it could just keep buying cards. So that was very difficult to do sometimes. Even with bots, you wouldn't land cards, but that was 2020. So thankfully, we're not in that scenario again. All right. In addition to the upgrade for the CPU, obviously we're going to need a new cooler because this is a stock Wraith cooler. It's the I know the name of this cooler off the top of my head, but I'm just not thinking of it. I just drove 19 hours on Sunday from Oklahoma to Michigan, so I'm a little bit fuzzy, if you know what I mean. Still a little fuzzy, and we drove straight through, so a little fuzzy still. So anyway, the Wraith cooler, somebody remembers the name, put it in the chat for me, please. It was going to be upgraded to the Peerless Assassin 120 SE addressable RGB cooler. This cooler is actually a really nice stock cooler by AMD. I really liked them when they released them, and basically I would actually buy these because it was cheaper than, at the time, cheaper than, say, going and buying another cooler. These would have been cheaper, especially if they came with the CPU. You definitely wanted to use it. And this came with the, I think it was a 3700X that we put in here originally. So definitely a step up for the CPU from AM4 to AM5, the Ryzen 7 3700X to the Ryzen 7 7700X, and a bigger cooler for the bigger processor, even though this is a very efficient cooler. I'm sorry, CPU. And then we're getting DDR5 RAM, the deal. So massive leap on the platform, but that's not all. We're also going to upgrade to a RTX 5060, and what's in here right now is a Sapphire Pulse RX 5600 XT. So this is a 6GB graphics card, 5000 series on the AMD platform, Radeon, and we're going all the way up to the 5060, which is going to give him a lot of extras like the DLSS. He's mostly an Escape from Tarkov player, so he doesn't need any insane graphics card to play. It's going to be more CPU and RAM intensive than it is GPU for this title. So we went with the 5060. You can always upgrade that later in the future as well. Is that PC's power supply enough? Yes, I believe this is a 700 watt, 80 plus white bi-thermal take, which is now 6 years old. So, Squeeze says, since the last stream I had to replace one of the sticks in my 1,300 pound worth of RAM. Ugh. And buy a new power supply. What do you mean? So what happened? You had to replace a power supply and a stick of RAM? Did you at least get it through the manufacturer to get a replacement, or through warranty or anything like that. But anyway, we've got plenty of parts. We also have a new case. So this case is actually a case that I haven't seen in a long time. This is a Deepcool, I think it was the Matrix 50, or I can't remember the name of it, the model. It was a MX 50 or a Matrix 50 or something like that. But it's by Deepcool. Deepcool doesn't sell products to the US anymore unless they sell it under a different name. But Deepcool brand isn't in the United States anymore, technically. So it's really cool to kind of see an old case. And this is the style back then when we were building PCs, is to have the glass front and the airflow on the side. That was kind of the design back then. Nobody really liked the mesh, and now that enough people are educated about airflow, mesh has become a really big deal. So when you built PCs back then, everybody was looking for the glass front and the glass this and the glass that and the RGB. That was kind of the theme back then. What a tiny GPU. This is a RX 50 or RX 5600 XT. So it's a 5000 series Suka. 6 GB too. So we're going to be upgrading to the 5060, which is actually not that much bigger in physical size between the two. He had a same RAM but wanted DDR3 for another PC, so I traded him 2 DDR3 sticks for 1 DDR4. Well, pretty good deal, I think, on your end. My PC case had 4 PC builds on the side of it. Holy smokes. Suzuka. I'm sorry. I don't know. I give you a name every time. You get a new name every time you come in here. In 8 years. Oh, okay. So you had one case for 8 years? Nice. Yeah, we're going to upgrade the case because he was worried about temperatures. He said it got a little warm, and we are adding a little bit higher end components in there, so we want to make sure the airflow is good. So we are going into an NZXT H5 flow. So oh, excuse me. Drink. Oh, your friend had the case before. Okay, gotcha. Nice. Well, I mean, if you can stretch a case out that long, which typically you can because the standard hasn't changed. ATX, micro ATX, neither of those standards have changed in a long time, so nothing's really changed about it. So, all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to build this out. We're going to get what we need out of this, which is going to be the storage underneath the graphics card here, the Crucial M.2 SSD, and really just the power supply. And that's really the only two components that we're going to need out of the build. The rest of it is going to pretty much stay put. Really not going to change much else. Also looks like the previous company that was in here not put the CPU power back on, or the customer. So we'll get the components out first. We'll probably give them a physical clean before we put them in the new case, obviously. And then we'll get started on reassembling. So I was driving for 19 hours straight, and I leaned my elbow up against the window, holding the steering wheel, like, you know, Mr. Cool Guy. And now I have no feeling in this finger or this finger, my two fingers here. I have no idea what to do about that, but it's apparently a nerve in my elbow here. So if my fingers do some weird stuff, that is why. On my left hand. Such a strange sensation. I was going to do a build in the case I had passed down through my siblings for 20 years, but my CPU cooler was too big. That is the time to upgrade. My CPU cooler was wider than that case. Taller? Yes. Yeah, that's happens a lot with older style cases. They're usually a little skinnier, and so therefore the taller the cooler is, it won't fit. All right. I have no idea what they did with the CPU power. There's no CPU power here at all. They must have just stuffed it back in there. Oh, it's right here. Interesting. Okay. I think we're going to try to keep these cables and clean them up. The reason why we can't use these sleeved cables that we have here. These are really stiff cables. Wonder who picked these ones out. I know it was me. Alright, we just removed the SSD and that tooth drive. I didn't see any other storage in there, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove the power supply now. Whoever built this thing really stuffed it in there. That, hey Tom, Tama PC, that build command is actually inaccurate. I didn't update that since the last stream. Kind of in a rush to get this one started. Yes, we're doing an upgrade tonight for Ryan's build. Trying to get some of the components out of here so we can use those. It's a little dirty. We'll clean that up before we put it into the new PC. But that is everything that's going to come out of here. CPU, the motherboard, the RAM, the graphics card is actually staying too. And then the cooler is staying, the case is staying. Everything else is going into the new one. So, we will put this aside. I'm going to clean up this power supply real quick. It's one of the only components that's dirty that's going into the new build. We are going to be going over to a Ryzen 7 7700X, 32 gigs of DDR5, the B650 Gaming X AX-V2, and the Peerless Assassin. So let me clean this up real quick, get that nasty dirty out of there. And welcome back to the build show. So Ben, the NVIDIA experience has been super great. yes it has. I might get those extension cables in yellow and black to match my GPU and CPU cooler. Nice. Hey, what's up, Ian? Welcome back to the build show, sir. Nice. Upgrade, yes. This is an upgrade. Yes. Yep. The build command, like I said, is inaccurate, so don't read that. Forget it. Scratch that. That was David from number 17, the last one we did right before we left to Oklahoma, which drove straight there on Thursday and drove straight back on Sunday. So straight through, 19 hours of driving each way. Almost 40 hours in the car. Tends to drive someone mad. Where are the old guard? I don't know. Yep. Let me clean this up. There we go. A little bit cleaner. Let's actually bust these loose. Okay, so now we're going to start assembling the new build. Well, the upgrades. Hey, what's up, Hannah? Good evening, everyone, from Greece. Good evening, sir. Welcome back to the build show. I think he's trying to say good evening for us. Eastern time over here, it's what, almost 9:30. Well, it is 9:38. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and get the motherboard out and get this upgrade started. My sister now lives in Greece. Oh, wow. Nice. 1:40 a.m. in the UK. Wow. Oh man, that's super early. Or super late. Although, I mean, yesterday I drove through, or Sunday, I drove through all the way to 8 a.m. Or 9 a.m. I can't even remember what time we actually arrived, but it was like 8 a.m. No sleep. I drove through. I did it. I was dead set on getting home. Alright, so one thing I didn't talk about is an AIM-5 contact frame. I think I have one. I always forget to tell people about these, but I'm going to throw a contact frame on there for you, Ryan. I always forget about that. They're only like $8, $8 or $9, or $10 on Amazon now. But Micro Center has them for like $30. Another thing we could have price matched with them. I'm also going to try to save the boxes for you. What I'm going to do here is expose the pins, which is a terrible idea. You'd never expose it until you're ready to drop the CPU in. But I'm going to expose the pins there, and we're going to drop the CPU into the socket, and then we're going to remove the old bracket, or the stock bracket there, and replace it with the contact frame from Thermalright. This is your Thermalright contact frame. They call it a secure frame, but it's a contact frame. All it does is secure the CPU. Instead of using this mechanism here, we're using an actual frame, which is going to create a better flatter surface for the cooler to make contact to, which makes it cooler. Gives it a better chance to run cooler. It's only a couple degree difference, really running these and not running them. Different person. For the $10 and everything else being so expensive, it's worth it. Ultimately, I like these because thermal paste likes to get down into these little cracks here. And the contact frame, you'll see how it sits, will help keep thermal paste out of there. So, ultimately, that's why I like them. Yeah, they're between $7 and $10. Depends on, you know, the flavor of Amazon, to be honest. Hello from Jamaica. What's up? Poketech? Poketech. Welcome to the Build Show. You can see the teeth on this contact frame goes around, and it's going to hold the CPU down securely, and it's supposed to be more flat than using the brackets. The more flat, the flatter the surface, the better the contact to your cooler. The better the contact to your cooler, the better cooling results you'll have. There we have it. Contact frame installed. So next, we're going to install our memory and slots A2 and B2, which are the ones that I just opened up here. Clips right here. Clip, 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 clip. There's slots A2 and B2 that we're going to be using, which is going to be our DDR5 FlareX5 G.Skill, 32 gigabytes total, two 16 gigabyte sticks at 6000 CL36. 250 watts on a 17-year-old CPU cooler. That's pretty insane. I actually had this really nice one by Zalman that I wish I still had. I can't even think or remember what happened to it. But I wish I still had it. Alright, so last on the board, besides the hardware for the cooler, we're going to remove this heat spreader and install our M.2 NVMe SSD, which we do need. So our M.2 screw is in a little bag that's inside the motherboard. It's part of the hardware that's included with the motherboard. Alright, so we'll go ahead and install the drive. Add the M.2 screw that we just retrieved from the motherboard box. And this is a Crucial P1 from 6 years ago. So it's been in service for about 6 years. Gen 3 drive. Still good to this day. Back when M.2 Gen 3 was like the shit. People would get all excited about it. It was so much faster than SATA. Hey, what's up, Undecided Walker? How much did you pay for the RAM, if you don't mind me asking? So, the customer, I actually advised them, because if we purchase this RAM, the motherboard, and the CPU, one, Micro Center doesn't let me buy any more bundles. We have a Micro Center local here in Michigan. It's the Madison Heights Micro Center here in Michigan. Micro Center does not like me buying bundles, because apparently they think I'm just reselling them, when obviously I'm just doing builds. So it's literally the same thing as the customer walking in and buying it, except I'm doing it for them. But they have a problem with that. So I advised the customer to save some money to buy this bundle, which is the motherboard, the CPU, and the RAM. And that was a total of about $500 before tax. I think it was $499.99 before taxes, which is about the same price as 32 gigs, which is what he has, of DDR5 CL30, 6000 megahertz memory anywhere else. So, really good deal. So, I strongly advise you, if you have a Micro Center nearby and you want to save some money on your parts, definitely go get that bundle, especially if you're in the need of a motherboard, a CPU, and RAM for your upgrade or build. That is going to save you a ton of money. Micro Center. So basically, if you think about it, 32 gigs DDR5 right now on Amazon, you're going to see it around $450, $500 in that price range. He basically got the CPU and the motherboard for free, if you're thinking of it that way. Yeah, $499. Thank you, Deborah. So, saves tons of money. And I wish I could keep buying them for people, but again, Micro Center, if they're watching, does not like me doing that, apparently. They think I'm buying them and reselling them and making a profit. And everybody knows, if you build PCs like me, you're not making money. Not a lot of it, anyway. It's very, very unprofitable. There's a lot of work going into a build. So, anyway. Let's go ahead and get the mounting hardware out of the box for this cooler and get that mounted. and then we could break out the new case. And go from there. I wish I had a Micro Center here in Texas. I thought there was a Micro Center in Texas. Although you probably would have to, assuming, I could have sworn there's one in Texas. Is there not? Maybe it's just 6 hours away, because I know you could drive 6 hours one way in Texas and still not be where you want to go. So, big state. That's more than enough reason to have one, right? I do a lot of 4K video editing and 3D Blender. Then, okay. Is it a good reason to get a 5090? I don't think a 5090 is justified for Blender and for 3D in Blender, no. I mean, maybe if you need to speed up your renders, it might help a little bit, but I mean, if you have time where you can get up and go get a coffee and come back and you're okay with that experience, then maybe not buy the 5090, because right now they're insanely expensive. Texas has 2 Micro Centers, some giant idiot says. Houston and Dallas. Nice. Yeah, I could have sworn they had at least one. I think you should look into that, Ian. No. What about a 5070 Ti? I think a 5070 Ti would be fine. As long as you're gaming on top of that, you know, because I would hate to see that just go to 3D rendering. Unless you absolutely need it. I don't know what kind of renders you do, so I don't know. Thank you for the sub over there, Chaos Dad, on the YouTube. Alright, I'm just getting the hardware unpackaged here. There's also hardware in this box for Intel platforms, if you ever wanted to switch over to Intel and still use the same cooler. Hey, what's up, Kraken over there on Twitch? How you doing? Welcome back to the Build Show. Sorry, Mr. Chat there. Buy the 5090 now. It will only get more expensive. The more you buy, the more you save. Yes, that is NVIDIA's. That is the way. The only way NVIDIA wants you to believe. And it's honestly becoming true. Did you guys get to see my DLSS on funny image that I posted in the Discord? That is also what NVIDIA wants you to believe. Boom! And all I did was mention the name Intel, and some giant idiots over here in the Twitch booing it. I'm looking for one under $2,000. Good luck with that. You're lucky to find one under 3. Alright, so we're going to be using the Arctic MX4 for our thermal paste. This is a massive 45 gram tube, which I haven't opened in over a week. There we go. This lasts me about a couple. It's about a gram per PC is what it takes to apply the perfect amount. Anybody was ever wondering? Almost forgot. Where'd my long driver go? There it is. So I read somewhere on Facebook somebody was complaining about how hard it is to mount one of these. And I've got to say, this is probably one of the easiest coolers I've ever mounted. It is super easy. So I couldn't resist, and I had to respond to that person posting on a Facebook group. Probably said unkind words. I remember coming across that not too long ago, and I was like, what? No way. That can't be real. But, I mean, it's mounted. It took 4 screws and then the 2 nuts to mount, plus your thermal paste, and it's on there. Very easy to mount. You're not fighting it either. And the next trick is to get these clips on the fan, and then mount your fan to the cooler. There's 2 fans for this cooler, which is nice. Okay. Now that that is completed, we now have a CPU mounted on a motherboard with a contact frame and a power air cooler, the Peerless Assassin, with 32 gigs of DDR5, 6000 CL36, two 16 gigabyte sticks, and our 1 terabyte Crucial P1. Two NVMe SSD, all on the motherboard, so this is ready to go into the new case, which we're going to break out and get over here. This is the NZXT H5 Flow. Just got the Oculus Air. Oh, nice. Aircos? Actually, which is that one? Hopefully, it's a good case. I'm actually not familiar with that one. The Aircos. Aircos? NZXT H5 Flow. Yes. Ian. Or then. And the PS. What? Please? Not Blu-ray, LOL, new case too. Yes, he's getting a new case. It's the H5 Flow. Yes. I love this kind of Facebook people. I assume that's because of my comment earlier. Fun fact, the PS4 has a HD 7852 gig OC GPU, i7 2700K, and 8 gigs of DDR3 Kingston Blu-ray, but the CPU is AMD equivalent. Not sure I understand that. Yes, but you really can't do much other than what you can air cross. Got it, got it, got it. Okay, that makes more sense. I've seen those, but I haven't actually built in those yet. Polaris Racer. But a cool case, nonetheless. It looks cool. My only gripe with one cooler, the never come with spare clips. I busted one. Oh yeah, yeah. When you're like me and you got like tons of extra random crap here, I'm sure I probably have a box of just random crap and there's a clip in there somewhere, so I just have to go digging. Undecided. I got a iBuyPower PC for a good deal on a Walmart website for $12.99, was $17.99. Got a Ryzen 7 7800X 3D water-cooled AIO, 5070 1TB SSD. If that was within the last 30 days, Undecided Walker, that is a really good deal. Like, you buy that, no questions asked, you just buy it. And even if you don't need it, you just resell it. I don't know, maybe, or find a friend that needs or has been looking for one. Who knows? But regardless, that is an insanely good deal for a day, for those specs. Even if it is iBuyPower, which I very much so dislike. 6 minutes before I could join the Discord. Oh, I'm sorry, Ian. I'm surprised you haven't been in the Discord before. There's a cool off. It's a safety thing because we've had some people join for malicious spam purposes. It helps kind of keep that from happening. New people. Thank you for posting the link, giant idiot. Hey, what's up, Anarchist Healing? Welcome back to the build show, sir. I got a little clearance issue with the PC case when putting the GPU XFX Mercury OC 9070 XT. That's a big card. The GPU is blocked by the back of the case, so back here, I'm assuming, is what you're talking about. Is it just because of the sheer size of the card? I'm alive. Welcome back. Dude, I have a story to tell you. Okay. What's up, man? I've got stories to tell people too. I actually posted my story in the Discord channel. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy, Energy Rifle. Yep. So remember the whole horror story with Zydex and my PC getting destroyed? Yes. What happened? I think you ended up getting another build for them, right? They gave you kind of an equivalent and the rebuild? Yeah. I remember. Why is that GPU so big? While only being equivalent to a 6950 XT. No, I think they're a little better than the 6950 XT. Commercial. Oh, I'm sorry. And it's Radeon because my brother did exact same build, no issue. It's 1mm issue. Get a Dremel. Just Dremel it out. I've had to do that on. I was building with a EK AIO inside a Y50 by height, and because of their angled front side, they cut off an area where if it's a slightly bigger AIO, that AIO will not fit. So I ended up having to modify the case with a Dremel. And I made it fit. And it worked. But slight modification. So definitely Dremel has saved me a few times with components that don't fit in cases. Alright, so we've got all of our screws in, and the board is now mounted to the case. One thing I will call out, which I think we're going to solve here. That this case only includes the 2 fans. I really didn't want to reuse his old fans in there because I'm sure after 6 years, those deep cool bearings on those fans are noisy and probably not going to last long if they even are still quiet. So right now we've got 1 fan here in the front, 1 fan here in the rear, which is enough to get the job done, but I would rather have 3 in the front at least for intake, especially with the whole mesh front panel. So I'm going to see if I could dig up 2 more NZXT fans. I believe I have them sitting around here, just standard black case fans, and we'll throw them in here on the front. And next I got to see if I have a PWM hub. So just give me one moment while I go look for this. Well, things went downhill, or really quick, Anarchist is responding. Things went downhill fast. My Ethernet quit on me, and come to find out, the second M.2 on the motherboard, that was also out. So I called MSI to inquire a repair, and I found out I was lied to. The motherboard never got refurbished, so they gave me a customer's trade-in damaged board. Oh boy, that's terrible. Yes, that is a vapor chamber. I'm at my daughter's. I finished her and my son-in-law's house. Oh, nice. They paid for the land. I built them the house. I wanted them to have a fresh start, no debts. Well, that's very nice of you, Ian. Why is that GPU so big? Oh, yeah. I already covered that. No, the M.2 port was bad and was making Ethernet die. That is interesting. So there was definitely something wrong with the chipset on that board then. Or something got a little too toasty. So let me go find these fans for you. I'm the type of guy that just has a couple of, they've been sitting on in a box, and that box was unfortunately open, so they're a little bit, got a little bit of dust on them, just from sitting, not from running. These are actually brand new, and I'm the type of guy that has this kind of crap laying around. So here's 3 brand new NZXT fans we'll throw in there for them, or 2 anyway, make it 3 on the front. And that will give us 3 fans on the front, and then we'll need some sort of PWM hub, I think. If we got, well, I guess we have 1 to the rear, 1, 2. Technically make it work, but we'd be using the pump header as a fan. How do we get this? All that. Oh, there we go. So we're gonna put these 2 fans in real quick. Give it a little bit more airflow. Reminder, I can't feel my pinky or my ring finger in my left hand after driving 20 hours and resting my elbow on the window. So, can't feel that I'm holding a fan. What's up, Roy? Welcome back to the Build Show. What's good? Hope everyone's having a great night. Well, we're building, so that's a positive direction. Zydex sent me a new case. Temperature in the case were okay, but not where where you wanted. So I traded the 5800X and 64 gigs of RAM for a 9600X and an Asus TUF Gaming V650E plus Wi-Fi, 32 gigs of DDR5. Ripped out the X570 motherboard, installed all the new stuff, and now the PC is flawless. And new PC also has XFX Mercury 9070 XT. Nice. It's a great card. Deborah, you're welcome. No problem at all. To both Deborah and Ryan. So the fans are slightly different. So if you look at the fan pattern, this one's a little bit more curvy. This one's more of the traditional NZXT design, but they're NZXT fans nonetheless. It's probably the same exact motor that's in them, and that's really what I wanted. The fact that it's granted, patches up a little bit. To do with, can't really complain about free fans. Keep dropping screws with my left hand. Driving me nuts. Hope this goes away. I'm just gonna hope it goes away. The numbness in my fingers. Okay, so I know we have a port here and one port down here. And the bottom fan down here. And I'm pretty sure our USB ports. Three is here, USB is there. Panel, USB 3. You guys gonna go here. And this one, be a little tricky getting those ones in, but we'll do it. Okay, I must be losing my mind here. There we go. these with. What are you doing? All right, so we got everything plugged in. We have a visitor. I have a Yes, the baby did mute the mic. You're off to bed, Tama PC. Have a good night, sir. Thanks for stopping in and hanging out. A wee PC builder. I know, one day she'll be building the PCs for me. Yep, that is Little Miss number 3. I've got 3 girls. Lord help me. So. All right. So we've got all of that plugged in. We've got all the fans plugged in. Nicely done. Done. Cables look nice and clean. The only thing different I will do is maybe loosen up this USB-C so it can free flow a little bit. Right now it's a little too tight. I just take that out completely. We'll do some zip ties here in a bit, clean that up on the back side. But I think we are ready to drop a power supply in here. Before we do that, we can actually clean these up real quick. Get them plugged in. Oh. Helping. Gotta finish building this girl. Okay, and then we're going to get our EPS cable in. I think this one is. Maybe I should have done this before we put the cooler in. Really hard to do when you don't have feeling in half your hand. Okay. There it is. Goes in. Now we can go ahead and put a graphics card in here. Your daughter's 22 now, so she is too much like her mother. Life is unfair. Yes. My girls are as well. Deleted by moderator. Thank you, some giant idiot. So yeah, let's say I avoided the warranty and they can get their 60 for the case when I can afford it. LOL. Nice. Happy little kid. Oh yeah, she's probably one of the best out of the three so far. Easiest, should I say, not best. I should say easiest baby that we've ever had. She's very just easygoing. For example, the 19 hours that we were in a car, she was in a car seat that whole time, and she was a trooper through the entire thing. And so was our 4-year-old, Chloe. She was also a trooper through that entire car ride. The girls did great. Let's just say they were outstandingly noticed for their patience in a 19-hour one-way car ride. So next, we'll put the graphics card in here, and then we'll get the power supply, I guess, and then do some cable management, and then we'll fire this thing up and be done. We're getting close, very close here. See if it turns on or not. Oh. Popped out. Went flying. Okay, graphics card. NZXT has this lovely design. And for the graphics card, we are going to be running the RTX 5060, 8 gigabytes. As you can see, the prices of these are slowly climbing. That says $369.99. I don't know if that's exactly what they paid for it, but it is definitely climbing. These used to be back in like September of 2025, like $299 even. It was hard to find one that was more expensive unless it was like a Astral model. Girl, 22. Boy is 19. Both out of the house. Life is good. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a long way before I get there. A long way. But a man can only dream. Man can dream that he puts something down, walks away, comes back, and that thing is still there in one place. The same place of where he placed it. A man can dream that that is the life that somebody has, but it is not this man. This man placed something down on the counter or anywhere in the house, and it will magically grow legs and move. And when I ask, where did this item go? Nobody can give me a straight answer. So then the man goes and buys another item to replace the missing item because he can't find the item. And then one day, all the items reunite and he finds out that he has 6 of the same items. And that is why a man's garage and toolbox usually has 6 of everything. Want that bad boy in there? There you go. Somebody commented on the 50 or the 5600 XT being a really small card. 5060 is not that much bigger in physical size, but it packs way more punch. So don't let the size of the card fool you. Okay. Power supply time, I guess. Where'd my GPU? And now all we got to do is put a power supply in. Which earlier in the stream we cleaned this up and made it look almost new. So a little bit of and because of the NZXT flow, we do place the fan in facing up because it breathes through the bottom of the case, the basement chamber. The actual bottom of the case, it is a solid piece of metal. So do not place this power supply if you're working with an NZXT H5 flow with the fan facing down, because you will burn this sucker out. I would say if you're gaming on it, it would last maybe a couple of months. It'll be burnt out. So, don't do that. Pay attention to the ventilation in your... when you are assembling. Go. But you can see here down at the bottom that it pulls ventilation from down here. That is where it's drawing the air, and that's actually pulling cold air and exhausting out the back. So it actually helps pull the airflow through the case. So in a way, the power supply is becoming kind of like a case fan as exhaust. All right, and then last, we just need to plug in all of our extension cables that we have back here and then do some cable management. And we are good to fire this thing up and see how she runs for the very first time. This is a 6-year-old power supply, by the way, if anybody's wondering. Been running for a while. Everybody used to tell me that these power supplies were trash, and turns out I've only ever had like one go bad, which is a pretty good sample size because I probably built with at least 150 of these exact 700 watt power supplies over the course of like 3 years. I probably used about 150 of them. I only had one go bad that came back to me. And then I did have, I think, 1 or 2 out of the box bad. But I think that's why this power supply got a bad name, is there were a higher dead on arrival, which is basically dead out of the box brand new. But I've never had an issue outside of that. So I was impressed with them. I like them. Yeah, they're not 80 plus gold, but they were at the time one of the better priced power supplies, which everybody remembers 2020. Power supplies were also very expensive during a certain point of that time. So this helped a lot when you're able to get these types of power supplies for a decent price. Help keep the costs down. And turns out it's been running for 6 years. So make a shout out for Thermaltake. And they still have this lineup out, and it's still being sold to this day. So but I had people in the past tell me they're trash power supplies, and I just wanted to throw that out there, that it is still running to this day, and because I talked about it, it's probably going to die. So I apologize, Ryan. Shouldn't have said anything about it. Thankfully, today, 2022, this Hittite just broke on me. Power supplies are not that expensive, so you'll be able to inexpensively fix the problem in comparison to everything else. Toilet paper was the cost of gold in 2020. I know. It was a terrible year. Everything was so stupid expensive. Even though everything's stupid expensive again. So... want to keep the cables from flapping around on the inside of this case. There we go. Not much more I could do here. One more tie here, and that's about it. But pretty much locked in with what it's going to look like. There we go. Nice and clean. About as clean as it's gonna get. Got a little bit up here, but this isn't gonna go anywhere. Not gonna do anything. Not gonna get in the way. Girls are always easier than boys, Roy says. I think when it comes to that situation, yes. Hey, just no gaming. Can I just Dremel the case? Yes. Yes, you can. I bought me... Sorry, I missed your chat up there. Ellie, what's up? Welcome back to the build show. The exclamation point build command, unfortunately, is not accurate. Sorry about that, guys. Just No Gaming. Hey, my boyfriend seems to be having tech issues with a walkie-talkie. And I was wondering if you could help. walkie-talkie. I can't help with a walkie-talkie. I'm not a walkie-talkie expert. I bought me and my boyfriend matching walkie-talkies so we could talk on a night. Tonight, he said, "We are over," and I asked, "We are what? Over?" He hasn't replied. I think his walkie-talkie broke or maybe just ran out of batteries. I think you need to reevaluate, as they're saying, "Do you copy? Over." You know, like the over, like a request for response. I think that was a funny one. Can I just Dremel the case? Yes, just Dremel the case. That is always the answer. Have one rule. My workshop is no entry. My wife is the boss of the house. My workshop is the getaway. The man cave. That's called the man cave. We have finished the build. Except for this cable has gone completely wild here. Nope. Better. Would love to straighten this thing out, but wanting to shift out. It'll just do what it wants to do, I guess, at this point. Whatever. There it is. In all of its glory. Let's fire it up and see if it posts. Although this build does not have a crazy ton of art. Will not be sharing the screen tonight because this is a customer's drive that he previously was using, so I will not be exposing any of his data or anything on the internet. Everybody, privacy. But we can at least see that it posts. Turns on. All right, Ryan, are you here? Are you still awake? I know you work, so probably getting pretty late. Late for me, so I could, if I could feel it, then you could feel it. So I'm old and I'm usually a night owl. All right, so okay. Let me know if Ryan is here, because he gives us the power to push this button and power it on for the first time. If he's not here, I'll do it on behalf. But if Ryan is here, tell us to push that power button. Does McDonald's taste good? No. No, the only thing that tastes good from McDonald's is the Big Mac sauce, which is basically Thousand Island dressing with pickles. Yes, he's awake. Awesome. Have him tell us to push that power button. I'm gonna try to refocus this. He says yes. Push the button. All right. In 3, 2, 1. I did that on purpose. 3, 2, 1. Will the fans move? Uh-oh. I got you guys. We're just waiting for it to post. Post is power on self-test. That that is what post means. And power on self-test, what that is doing is checking the CPU, the RAM, the VGA, and then boot is the last portion, the boot. From there, it hands it off to the BIOS, and the BIOS determines whether or not you have an operating system. And if you do, then it will continue to the operating system if it's set up to move on to that. But we finally have a post, so we do have a boot, which means the basics, the CPU, the RAM, and the graphics card are all in order, so it can post. Unfortunately, Chris, that build information is inaccurate. It is from the previous build. I forgot to update that before I started the stream. Sorry about that. I'm getting a little rusty after a week, you know. Oh, okay. So it's a Ryzen 7 7700X in here with a B650 Gaming X AX V2 motherboard by Gigabyte and 32 gigabytes of DDR5 6000 CL36 G-Skill Flare X RAM. That's two 16 gigabyte sticks, and that's an RTX 5060 and an NZXT H5 Flow case with a Thermalright Peerless Assassin tower air cooler with the two 120 fans. We did add additional two black NZXT fans to the front of the H5 Flow to add 3 total, or to have 3 total on the front. And the power supply is an existing power supply, as well as the 1 terabyte Crucial P1 SSD from his PC previously before. But we're into Windows now, so we're at his login screen. So, Ryan, I will need you to text me, not in this chat. Do not send it in this chat. Send it to my phone number, your PIN, when you get a chance, so I can sign in and get started on the driver changes, because we're changing the chipset. So I'm going to remove all the old and put all the new on, as well as, what was that at? Can't remember what board that was. I think it was an Asus motherboard. We're going to be removing any of the Asus stuff and putting Gigabyte on there. So, whose PC is this? This is a PC for a customer named Ryan, who is a local customer. Congrats on the new upgraded PC. This is a massive upgrade. This is upgrading a build that I did back in 2020, so about 6 months. Nice build. I forgot to check. Thank you for being a member, Tony, for 8 months now. Holy smokes. You didn't miss too much of the show. It was pretty quick. We started at what, 9, a little after 9. So it was a pretty quick show, Tony. Sorry about that. I didn't really give anybody a heads up because this literally came in yesterday evening and I didn't have a ton of time because we just got back from Oklahoma to sit down and really do anything. So I wasn't able to like do my normal, maybe give you a heads up. I'm gonna be doing a build show. I'm back, blah, blah, blah. So it's been busy, crazy. Ben's got the upgrades. Ben's got the upgrades. Yes. Sounds more German. Hey, what's up, Loop? Over there on the kick. How's it going, man? Welcome back to the build show. You want to see an RTX 6000 Pro build soon, Ben? Yeah. Got to find somebody who wants to buy it, because I'm not buying it. If they want to buy all the parts and bring it here for 6,000, I'd build it for them. We just got the build fee. So, yes, and if you haven't already joined the Discord channel, if you're new to the channel, if you've just stumbled across us and the Empower Gaming computers. I think I might be. Anyway, Empower Gaming Computers, feel free to drop into the Discord and hang out there. That is where most of the updates are from me. That is my primary channel for communication. So if you're ever wondering, hey, I haven't seen Ben in a week, what the hell is going on? That is probably going to be the easiest way to get in touch with me, other than emailing or calling me and doing a welfare check. Thank you, Deborah. I'll use that to get signed in, and I will be able to get the drivers changed out, hopefully sooner than later. And I'm gonna try to get this ready to go for tomorrow. But I know he asked me to also go through the old hardware to see what is actually bad. I might need some additional time on that, so I'm thinking Thursday I'll have everything ready for pickup to save you a trip. But if you wanted to pick up the PC, I'll probably have that ready at some point tomorrow. Just a heads up. He's excited to get it and is willing to drive twice. Pick up his old hardware later. But should have everything ready to go by Thursday at the latest. He's slacking because the memories cost inflated. Yeah, I know. It's been slow this year, guys. Very slow. We're in, what, end of March now, and we've only got 17 builds built. It's been slow. It doesn't help that I've also sacrificing 40 hours a week to the contract that I'm on right now. So there goes 40 hours. Plus, I have been building more small business customer clientele support. So I have been doing a lot of Office 365 and Azure stuff, admin stuff for small businesses for very, very low price, low cost to them, as I'm establishing more of a MSP, which is going to help fund both the Empower Gaming Computers, because Empower Gaming Computers is not profitable. That is the problem that I'm having right now. Is it's up and down. So 1 month it could be very good, and then the next it could be completely bone dry. And the last 3 months have been dead. So that is just the nature of the business. As parts get super expensive, nobody has the disposable income because everything else is super expensive right now to spend on fancy gaming computers. So it hurts the business as a business. Thursday is good, awesome. Just don't burn yourself out, mate. I try not to. I am an entrepreneur at heart. I cannot help myself. I must continue to build and do something. Do a water block 5090 build. I don't know if I can do that. I actually don't think I've done a 5090 water block build yet. I almost did this year, but I talked the guy out of it because of how expensive it was going to be. I'm really good at talking people out of just buying stupid stuff, and I'm must not be in the right business. I give them my 2 cents, not Jay's, mine. At the time, I never thought I would say I'm glad I built my PC 2 months ago. Yes, Tony, even though it was higher price back then, even, it is not nearly as high as it is now. Yeah, I know. I'm starting to get a lot of inquiries for custom builds right now, but those haven't turned into builds yet. So I've got a lot of quotes out there that I've been writing since I've gotten back. I think literally all day yesterday I was writing quotes. That's basically all I was doing outside of sleeping, because we got in at like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. or something like that, because we drove straight through on Sunday. I didn't get any sleep, so I stopped and slept a little bit in the morning. And then in the afternoon, I got up early afternoon and started working on quotes. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, I've got another build already lined up. It's already paid for, so we should have a build stream later this week, at least, maybe the weekend, and then we'll be able to at least get number 19 done. Maybe we'll be crossing 20 before the end of March. That's how slow it's been. Just so you can see the business, it is slow. It's slowly dropping off. NVIDIA is stupidly expensive. The 5090 is fast, but way overpriced. Yeah, it's way overpriced. Hey, what's the specs? This one is a 7700X with an RTX 5060, 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM, and 1 terabyte M.2 Gen 3 drive from an existing PC that we pulled from. The power supply is also a 700 watt that we pulled from an existing PC. Motherboard is a Gigabyte B650 Gaming X AX V2 by, I think I said it already, Gigabyte. And then the Thermalright Peerless Assassin is the cooler. We've got some sleeved extensions, and then this is the H5 Flow by NZXT, the case. Yeah, no, they didn't. Nobody did. It's not AMD's fault. AMD just said, this is not profitable for us to compete with NVIDIA, so why are we doing that? And so they stepped away from it. It was I think, a good business idea for them, or business move for them, because if one piece of the business is pulling you down, you're not going to be able to expand the other portions of it. 10 out of 10, nice. Yeah, and the customer actually went and got all the parts from Micro Center himself. That saved him a ton of money because Micro Center won't let me purchase the bundles. So this was a CPU, motherboard, RAM bundle, and that was a $500 bundle for the 7700X, the 32 gigs of RAM, and the B650 motherboard, which is honestly basically getting a free CPU and a free motherboard with the RAM with today's prices. With respect, I can't go back to Team Green. Also, I'm a Linux user, so AMD is happy. Tony says, I've seen that new i7 270 is basically tied with the 9800X 3D in gaming and blows away and everything else. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I told you, Intel had to make some big noise. But that's their new CPU that they just released, competing with a CPU that AMD has already released. So AMD's new release is probably going to overpower that one. You know, Intel is still technically behind the ball, and AMD is leading the way. The record. But yes, it looks promising. Chilling with an i3 3120 right now. Nice, nice. There's nothing wrong with that, other than the Windows 11 support. I think we've talked about that before. 4 gigs of DDR3. Nice. Just enough to run some operating system and browsers and maybe some light games. Unfortunately, I bought Team Green a few months ago, Killa says, the 5080 FE, when it was 1,000. There's nothing unfortunate about that. That's actually fortunately, because now the 5080 is like $1,500, or between 1,500 and 1,300, somewhere in that ballpark. And the 5070 Ti is now almost 1,000, or is. Same. I hope they do not mess up like they did with the 13th and 14th gen as well, because that will just kill them. They will go under if they have another one of those problems. No, I don't think it'll be $300. It's a good point to bring up the price of the new Intel processor. It's better value right now, considering the performance between the two. Yes. If you compare the two and the price tag, the i7 is definitely going to be the better CPU out of the two, other than the longevity of the platform. So if Intel supports that platform longer, then maybe I would justify the cost versus going AMD, which is where I justify the cost, is going AMD, because of the fact that you will be on a platform that you don't have to change out a motherboard, which is your $200 difference later on, and less work. You paid $1,400 for mine. Now it's $1,800. I know. They're stupid expensive. Ugh. Wow, I just finished homework and joined the stream late. Wild that Apple comes up with an affordable laptop. Intel bring some new stuff. Yes, Intel has brought some new stuff on. I'm planning to get a Ryzen Pro 5650 laptop. What do you think? I mean, that processor's fine. Not a bad processor. Definitely an upgrade from your i3 and your DDR3 memory. That whole platform, it'll feel significantly faster and more snappy. Yeah, that's the problem with Intel. If Intel can figure out a way out to keep their platform longer without having to swap the chipset, then they'll be more competitive, I think, with AMD, because that's the biggest argument between Intel and AMD is the fact that you can keep the AMD platform for longer versus Intel, which is like every 2 generations of CPUs you have to upgrade your platform, which kind of sucks. But alright guys, that is the build show for tonight. We are going to be calling it a night here. It's about 11:10, so it's about 2-hour stream to put the Ryan's PC upgrades and new build together. So hope you all enjoyed this, and if you did, feel free to join the Discord and hang out over there. As well, I should be streaming again later this week. It's probably going to be towards the end of the week. I got to get all the parts here. I'm still waiting for some parts. The customer is actually bringing bring your own graphics card scenario, but the rest of it we're buying new and building. So it's kind of a cool build and cool story kind of behind it too. But we'll be doing that one later this week, towards the end of the week, probably maybe weekend. Just a heads up, and yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. Oh yeah, you're most welcome. And thank you, SomeGiant88, for dropping the Discord link again. So, with that being said, you all have a good night. Tomorrow's hump day. Everybody have a good hump day. Wednesday. And we'll see you on the next build show. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for hanging out while we built Ryan's PC. See you on the next one.